What is up, guys? It is Bucky and welcome to your 8th Objective-C tutorial. And in this tutorial I'm going to be talking to you guys, it's called data encapsulation and how to access instance variables. So in building our program, you notice that anytime we wanted to change variables, we needed to add a method in this implementation section. So if we wanted to change age, we need to make a method in implementation to change age. If we went down to our main method right here and we tried to set age equal to 32 and we went ahead and tried to build it and run this, we would get an error right here and it said age undeclared. So pretty much you can't access these variables anywhere besides your implementation section. So why did they do this, and why are we not allowed to access our variables from inside our main method? Well, they did this because they didn't want, like if you had a company, you wouldn't want your programmers that were creating objects and everything to be able to F up the code that was inside the class. So they pretty much have it separate where anyone who creates objects can't mess with the code that's already in the class. So it's actually a pretty nice system, and that is called the concept of data encapsulation. So what if you needed to use that age variable in your main section, or excuse me, your main method of your program? Well, what you would need to do is you would need to build a special method, and it's called a getter method, but we'll talk about that later on. And all it does is it returns to you the variables. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Instead of returning void like we did in these three methods, what we need to do is actually return these variables. So go ahead and put, since they're both integers, go ahead and put int age, and this is going to be a method. And if you're saying, alright, this is going to be a method called age, and you already have a variable called age, that's going to get confusing, isn't it? Well, actually, this is a pretty common programming practice, and by default, whenever you have a method named the same thing as a variable, then it automatically is most commonly a getter method. So everyone in the programming world understands what this would mean already. But anyways, just thought I'd throw that out there. So now that you have age, we need to make another method called wait. So now that we have the methods declared, we can go ahead and implement them. So let's go ahead and just copy this, our method header, and put it right there, paste it, and now we need a method body. So let me just make this easier for you guys to read. And there we go. So what do we want our method to do? The only thing it needs to do is return the variable age. So return age. And we need to do this exact same thing for wait. So let's go ahead and put int, since it's returning an integer, wait, and for the body, the only thing it does, return wait. So now, whenever we call these methods, all it's going to do is return that variable. So this is kind of a trick, and since we can't access the variables directly, but we know that this implementation section of our program can, we have to go through the implementation section, and that's how we get to the variables. So let's go ahead and, the first thing we need to do is set an age and wait for Bucky. So we already created our object. I didn't delete that from the last tutorial. Put Bucky set, or excuse me, set age was first, I believe. Set age and set it equal to like 25. And now give this object a weight and set my weight equal to like 240, anything you want. And now that Bucky has an age and a weight, we can go ahead and print out our variable. So we do this in the ns log, and go ahead and put at, and let's go ahead and put something like Bucky is %i and weighs %i. And now, as our variables, we can just go ahead and use the, well, you'll see in a second. Bucky Bucky age, and Bucky, forgot to put that in brackets, Bucky weight. So let's go ahead and run this, make sure we don't have any errors. And it says succeeded. So go ahead and put run console, and it says Bucky is, where is it? Bucky is 25 and weighs 240. So what exactly did we do here? What we did is, since we couldn't access the variable straight from our main method right here, we needed to build new methods that all these methods did is returned variables. This one returned age, and this method called weight returned weight. So then, instead of just putting age and weight here like we couldn't before, we needed to put the method in there as the variables. And whenever you came across this, it said, alright, Bucky is some variable. Now what am I supposed to put here? Well, call the method Bucky age, which was this, and whatever value you got in return, that's what I want you to print out. And now it says, and weighs some variable. So what am I supposed to put in the place of that? Well, it's Bucky weight, which is the return value for this method right there. So that's the basics of pretty much how to access your variables from inside your main method. And that's all I wanted to teach you guys. Essentially, you can't do it aside from making these methods. So anytime we want to access the variables, that's what we needed to do. And it's pretty much to protect the classes from anyone, pretty much to stop the people that create objects from messing up the class. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next tutorial.